Welcome to Gemstones and Whiskey. I'm Ashley Alexandra.
And I'm Reena Ezra.
And we are starting episode 2 after the intro now.
Here we go. It's always very exciting when we start the first one because you're like, oh my gosh, we're in it.
Yeah. So this Castle Leoch, I forget what the real name of the castle is, but it is an actual place that you can go to in Scotland, and I think it also served as Winterfell.
Oh, in Game of Thrones? They use the same castle?
I think so. It's one of the castles, and I'm pretty sure that it's this one.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Already, I would be so tired. She's traveled so long. She hasn't changed her clothes.
I'd be so hungry. Are you kidding me?
I would definitely want a shower. But you only get baths.
Ooh, like a hot shower, imagine.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Like if they have hot water.
That would be amazing.
Get it from the well. And this is also, it gives me the feeling or anxiety of when you're the new kid at school because nobody else knows you.
Yeah, you're just there and life is happening around you and no one is talking to you. You have no idea what they're talking about.
And she's just introduced to all these new characters. Also, the Scots are definitely a rough bunch. That's the thing too, keeping in mind that she's British and as far as like etiquette,
like not just Scots,
you were correct.
The Highlands.
Yeah, as far as like etiquette or how they treat each other or how like rough and rowdy they are with or whatever, and it's just like, she definitely does not mesh in the beginning.
Yeah. Here's Mrs. Fitz. Gotta love her. I love her little arm sock things. I want a pair of those.
Ooh, also, fun fact, she's the actress who also played in Halloween Town 2.
Oh.
I don't remember her name, but I remember her face, and I was just like, or is it Halloween Town 3? Fuck. No, it's the one where she's like sitting in the movie theater for all you Halloween Town fans in the movie theater, and then they're like basically have like a spell or like there's something to happen to them and they're frozen.
I have a confession.
You've never seen it?
Maybe I did when I was a kid. I'm not sure. Also, I'm sorry, can we just point out a great line of Mrs. Fitz being like, let's go get you something more, like to wear. Because she's wearing
very little.
Yeah. And with clogs. Can we also discuss that? Claire's look right now is like a ripped up white sundress type of thing with clogs. And Yeah. And Mrs. Fitz is a bit appalled.
Yeah, well, they all have a lot of layers. That was also a fun thing to, her next test is when she's changing outfits, and obviously, if you see it, you're just like, what is this material? What are these clothes? What is this?
How heavy is
her
it?
Undergarments?
How many layers?
Yeah, well, I'm saying her fleece clothes.
I understand.
We're just saying the opposite side. Yeah, but I'm just saying her clothes from the 40s.
Yes,
obviously,
as she's disrobing Claire, and she's like, "What? Is happening here?" Well, we'll get to that
because those things don't exist yet. But
fun fact: Katrina Balfe, who plays Claire, I believe, had to get a perm. I think her hair is naturally straight. And she got a perm for this.
How often do you have to perm
Look
yourself?
at her little clogs. How do you walk in mud with clogs? Like, that's...
Well, that's why she has shit all over her
feet.
It's just...
Do you get it?
She must have blisters.
It's feet.
It's...
Jamie looking dirty and rough and yet still... very sexy.
Hot as heck.
And now he does not have a shirt on, and I'm distracted.
Does he have pants on? He has
skirt.
He has his kilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
With his leg warmer / boot situation.
You call them
which I'm like, I'm pretty into. I didn't know that I was into like knees. Until I met Jamie Fraser. Yeah. Just look at that.
Also,
Sorry for all of you listening.
They get to share a room?
No.
Oh.
Did you fast forward through this episode?
No,
too?
I didn't. But immediately they're just in a room together.
She said.
Here's the thing where
the
she's
reveal of his back.
I'm
sorry. It is so. Like, I know that he's like embarrassed by it and thinks that like people would be repulsed by it, and he doesn't want like someone else's pity. But also like, you gotta tell, like, that's a turn on. Chicks dig scars, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I also dig Neosporin, but.
I thought you said you did Neosporin, and I was like, you did what with it? I think he's a little past the Neosporin window. It's been a few years since he was whipped repeatedly.
Those are deep lashes. You're right. Yeah.
I just mean like a very handsome man with a scarred back. That's not like a deterrent for me.
It's not.
And that's not
agree.
negative points, it's additional points. I'm like, wow, you're so resilient, and also like I can help nurture you.
Also, scars are a story.
That's what I mean.
He's
adds
been
character,
through a lot. Mm-hmm.
Right?
I agree with that. It definitely adds character.
Although, okay, so sorry, now it's turned into like objectifying men, but that's fine. It's our turn. No, just kidding.
She said it. You heard it from Ashley. Episode 2.
I am kidding, for the record. But thinking about things we're attracted to, a back, like a nice back, is like a thing.
You mean like a wide back? Or what do you mean by nice?
Yeah, I guess like a wide, like a V-shaped back.
V-shaped back
is nice.
Like
I like
to see the muscle, like you see the back. What are they called? Your shoulder blades. Like
those aren't the muscles, but yeah, the shoulder blades are back there too. Your lats. I like some good lats.
Okay,
it's the bottom. I'm touching my shoulders, but the lats are the.
I like the lower part of a man's back. Also, just
like
when you
see
small
of his back.
When you see it go from basically when you like it just top to bottom and it does like this curve or
right.
You know
the
what I'm
waist.
saying?
Do you like to see the
not the whole waist.
No, I get what you're saying, but
yes,
okay.
Yeah, because it's just like
oh wow, this is sorry. We're okay. So Jamie is sitting by the fire without a shirt on, and so we're distracted, but. Essentially Claire's trying to like fix him up, clean him up, get his shoulder all clean so that he doesn't die of dysentery. And he is recounting how he got the scars on his back with
this is a tough flashback. Yes. I mean every flashback is difficult emotionally for his character. Yeah,
so Jack Black Randall and his men have did I say it? I didn't even mean to. Blackjack Randall and his men went to Lallybroch where Jamie was with his sister. That's their home, and essentially is
he's just like
taunting Jamie by
messing with his sister.
Yeah.
He just like rips part of her clothes or whatever, exposes just her top half, but like he knows like I mean Jamie's obviously a family man. Like to see this happen to your sister. So like this is just very early on being able to see like Jamie's Blackjack Randall. That too. No. Like Jamie's kindness, but Blackjack Randall doesn't just mess with him physically.
Psychologically.
It's a psychological thing. Like and then, of course, the lashes are just so... His sister has to, like, stand there and watch it.
Yeah, it's very messed up.
But he just raised their home.
A mental abuse situation mixed with the physical, but, like, he's clearly getting the enjoyment out of the, like, mental...
Blackjack Randall is,
Yeah, abuse that he's giving these people.
Yeah.
And... but just to go back to what I interrupted with, which was this is also the first time you're seeing like how much Jamie values like a woman's reputation, which I think is really important because that's something that's going to come up a lot, and it's also something that is I guess somewhat rare for that time period.
Yeah,
I think there's like a percentage of men who care and would protect it, but there's also a percentage of men that would like to take it from someone, you know?
Well, that's the thing that makes Jamie so special, that the more and more you get to know him, and the more and more you see him and Claire interact, you start to understand, like, he's a guy that has certain values that are different than other people in his clan, in his group, you know, like, the way he treats women, the way he thinks about things, the way he, like, it's very, I mean, that's also what makes him so hot, because Claire's very progressive, and you need somebody to be very strong to be able to, I don't know, like, also, what's the word I'm looking for? To counter her, and to, like, also support and be there for her and do whatever, but, like, he can be, like, a fun challenge, she can be, like, a fun challenge, but, like, when it comes down to it, they're two good people.
Yes, and, like, caring people.
Yeah, which is also the thing that gets them in trouble, because I feel like that's what, you know, they're taken advantage of, because they want to see...
Spoilers down the road. Right?
Did I spoil something specific?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No, just, like, that is something that we'll see.
Yes, play out.
Yes, like, multiple times throughout the series.
Oh, yeah. And then, honestly, sometimes then you watch it and you're just like, are you kidding me right now?
Like,
shouldn't you know to not trust anyone by now?
Right.
What's happening?
So they just did a little flashback to Frank,
in present day, 1940s.
Discovering Claire's abandoned car and running up the hill where she disappeared to kind of figure out where she is and what's going on. He's with the Reverend, and Claire is getting a bit emotional, and Jamie's...
How bonkers. Like, how do you explain that? Like, how do you, like, you go
don't.
somewhere and you're like, your partner just disappeared.
Yeah.
That's it.
And this is the first time she's really... Like, she's pretty much this whole time been coming to terms with the fact that she has time traveled. It took her a long time to really accept that that is what happened to her. She obviously doesn't know why or how,
it's just
or if she'll ever get back. So this is her first time, I think, really, like, realizing that she might never see her husband again. And they're very close
and
with
she
their faces.
immediately forgets. No.
Frank who?
Yeah, their faces were very close. That was exciting.
Yeah, lots of eye contact.
Because he's comforting her. And when you comfort somebody, this is why people get picked up at funerals.
Oh my God.
Because they're vulnerable.
Reena,
and
have you
sometimes
ever picked someone up at a
vulnerable
funeral?
sex is good. No.
Have you ever been picked up at a funeral?
Okay. Last funeral I went to, I was a child, so that'd be really fucking weird. No, I haven't been.
Set me up for that one, but that's fine.
I haven't been to a funeral in a while. Thank goodness.
This is Jamie just reassuring Claire that as long as he's around, you know, she'll be kept safe, and reminding her that she is still an outsider and should, you know, kind of watch her back a little bit, but that he'll be watching her back as well, which is very nice.
That's super comforting.
Right?
She could have appeared with zero Jamie.
Yes.
Like, who?
No. Well, then we wouldn't have a show, I don't think.
Well, no, that's true. No, of course, but I'm just saying, like, it's just lucky that she had that kind of
She has a friend, right? Like, if nothing else, to feel like you have someone that you can trust a little bit. I'm sure she isn't sure exactly how much or in what way, but...
Also, interesting thing, this is the next morning. How do you know when to get up?
Someone comes in and opens your drapes and says,
because I can
naked.
Sleep in, like, for a long time. Like, I can still today probably, like, get up the latest I could get. Like, in the past, when I was, like, in high school and college, probably, like, 2 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. But now I can still push it to, like, 10:30, 11, perhaps.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. How late can you wake up?
8, if I'm lucky.
Wow, that's sad.
Know. That's adulthood. Here's the thing. Have you ever been inside a castle?
Yes.
So, like, the windows are very small. Yes. And their goal is to just, like, I feel like windows like that we're seeing right now are not as common. Usually they're like the little holes that like are really deep set, you know, just to let enough like light or air in. So I feel like it would be pretty dark in there.
Yeah. Well, right. They had to do this because the camera lighting.
Well, thank you. So Mrs. Fitch just discovered Claire's bra, and she's like, what is that? What kind of corset is that? And Claire says, it's a brassiere.
Mm-hmm. All her undergarments, yeah. Everything's silk, too.
Yeah. So can I share, I'm sorry if I said this in the first episode, but Claire being naked just reminded me. I was a little upset because in the books, there's some like light reference to Claire being, at the very least, like bottom heavy, like a little curvier. And Katrina Balfe's an amazing actress, and I think she is Claire. Like, I can't imagine another actress playing Claire. But I was a little upset that she's kind of like a model.
Yeah.
And, I mean, good for her.
Because the actress was a model.
Yeah.
Before she was an actress.
Yes.
She's actually a model, yes. Well, I think that also, I mean, how convenient that anything you wear kind of just like, you can tie that corset as tight as you want. Because your waist and her, and she's in the itty bitty titty committee, you know?
But not with that corset. Have you ever worn a corset?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've had to do that for any theater plays or whatever. I mean, really, it was to really push those puppies up. I
went to, you know, like the Renaissance Fair one year, and it rained. It was pouring, so we're like, where can we seek cover? And it was like a little like shop of like costume shop or whatever. So we're like, yeah, let's try on costumes for 20 minutes till the rain passes. And when I tell you, my boobs have never been closer to my chin. I didn't know that was possible.
Wow.
It's really something.
Were you able to like set food on top, or
I didn't test it out. I think it's a missed opportunity, honestly.
That's what I like with it too, because that's what it looks like you can do it with, honestly, because they just push them up so high. Also, like pregnant women, you know, when their bellies just like able to just fold clothes on top of it. Yeah. It's like a little portable table attached to you. Anyway, sidetracked. Who's the new guy we just met?
So that's Colum MacKenzie. He's the laird of Clan MacKenzie. So he's got some messed up legs. Unfortunately, he has. I forget what
you said. That.
Well, I mean, literally, he enters the room and the camera.
So how did they do that?
Zooms in on his legs. It's green screen, so it's shoes that make him have his weight on the like outsides of his feet, plus like green stockings or whatever. Like so they green screen his legs essentially. So it's a mixture of him actually being like standing strange and obviously moving strange because of the shoes, and then a little bit of CGI as well. But Colum, although his legs are interesting, I don't know. So is his brain. He clearly is very smart.
Yeah, so despite his physical disability, he is the one in this like area who has the highest. He's the highest rank. He has the highest, right? Like so
he's the head guy in charge.
So it is. I feel like people definitely do respect his wit or his smarts or his like. Obviously, you have to be like a general. You have to make certain calls. You have to do certain things. And now he's dealing with basically an intruder. This is and now like he doesn't know who Claire is. He doesn't know what's her deal. And he's kind of like has to protect his family.
Yeah. Claire, while she's kind of having this matching of wits with Colum, who clearly is lightly interrogating her to figure out what her deal is, where she's from. I think he's really unsure whether or not he can trust her. She's doing the flashback to some pertinent information that Frank had shared as a historian back in, current times, which is 1940, whatever. And that too, I think, is going to be interesting to see how often Claire relies on.
She's done it twice already.
Yeah, information that Frank gave her to survive while she's here in the 1700s.
Yeah.
I mean, she also is very smart. Like, she took a look at the one like ledger before he got in to check the year so that she could figure out.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah,
that's good. That's true because we
is.
didn't. Yeah, who the king is.
Yeah.
In that specific year. Who? Yeah, because like, what would the thing be if they're just like, oh, this person doesn't know this basic information. You must be a witch.
We don't know what, but yeah, a witch. I guess you're a woman. You're a witch.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, she doesn't get that accusation here, but I'm just saying, like, they don't know. Like, yeah, what would they chalk it up to? But he's also, I wasn't really sure how he felt about his character, because while you're watching it as a fan, you don't know who's good or bad either. You're like, okay, I know Claire's a protagonist, I'm following her, seeing whatever, I obviously know she's good-natured, I obviously know she's just in a really weird, tough predicament, but who are these other people? Because there are definitely some people in the clan I was not vibing with. I was just like, I do not like you, I don't know how I feel about you. And then over time, maybe my mind changed, but from early on, I don't know, they want to like control a lot.
Yeah, I think they did a really great job in I can't recall his name, give me one moment. And Gary Lewis is Colum MacKenzie's, the actor's name. I think they really did a wonderful job casting him, and I think he did a great performance in terms of towing the line, where you clearly know he's sizing her up, and he's not sure if he can trust her, but we don't know if we can trust him or what his next move is going to be. But there's something that like makes you kind of like him and feel more comfortable versus his brother Dougal, who was part of the original group that stumbled upon Claire. So like
such a different energy.
Yeah, you can tell it's very clear from just those first introduction moments of the two characters.
And Dougal's his older brother, right? You said he's his.
Yes.
So like that's.
You know what?
Is he his
I'm
older?
not sure
younger?
Actually,
because obviously Dougal's not the one who's.
I'm trying to remember
the
from
head.
the books, because there's actually more detail about Colum's legs in the book. So he actually gets in like an accident that messes up his legs and essentially like stunts his growth, because they talk about how he like has the torso of a very like tall, broad Scotsman, but essentially like his legs are very broken. So there's a whole thing.
So yeah, Colum is the older brother.
Okay.
By the way, yeah.
Because essentially that would be why he became laird, but Dougal's in the mix because physically Colum can't carry out certain duties that a laird would, which would be, you know, be like the battle leader and things like that. So they essentially came up with this agreement because it fits both of their talents.
And yeah, Dougal is definitely the right hand man, but he like he's such a warrior. Like,
but this was a moment where I was like, oh wow, he's so nice, because I kind of forgot from the first episode.
I did not believe this. I did not trust any of this.
You're smarter than I am. I think this is what we're learning. But like he gets up to offer her a seat at the banquet table, and I mean, I do think you could tell he's very smart, similar to Colum, where like, although he's a little more gruff and a little firmer, he also still was like cordial to her and knew enough to like play nice to figure out what's going on with her.
So we got to reel him in close.
Yeah, so he's good at towing the line too, although I think he has moments where he cracks a bit more.
Yeah, so this is also the first time Claire meets
Letitia.
The woman of the household.
Yeah.
And I also feel like she does
not like fun, but like seems like a strong woman.
Yeah, well, she does the same thing. I think she's also sizing him up. There's a reason why the family dynamic works. Oh yeah, you know, like there's so immediately like just like her. Oh, I mean, also just how this scene pans out at the end, which we'll get there.
Alcohol. Never drink alcohol when you're a stranger in a strange land.
I probably would definitely not follow that rule.
I'd be like, finally, sweet release.
Something. No, I would definitely ask them and be like, you got weed? No, they'd probably go.
They'd be like, they would just call it something else. They would have it. You just need to know what they call it.
Maybe they would have, what's the other one? Opium? Is that peyote? Yeah. Or maybe that's Native American.
Yeah. Again, like similar. I think they're all in the same vein.
They definitely have an ancient drug.
Yeah, I don't know if they call it opium though, because actually that does come into play later in the season.
Oh, does it? Am I just forgetting?
Yeah, I think it's not as clear in the show as it is in the book.
We'll interesting.
Talk about it when we get there. So Claire just talked about Dougal's son that she saw him playing out in the courtyard with, and now it got real awkward at the dinner table because that's not his son. That is Colum's son. And
why are they so mad about that? She just made a mistake.
I don't think she made a mistake. She made an observation.
Oh, because he can't play around with Colum can't play around with his own kid because his legs. And then Dougal is just but he's a fun uncle.
Reena,
what am I forgetting?
I don't think it's Colum's kid.
But she thought it was Dougal's kid, but I know it's not Dougal's kid.
Yes, it is.
It is Dougal's kid?
Yes.
We need to clarify some shit. I totally lapsing in my memory.
Okay, well, so the way the show plays it makes it clear. Well, sorry, I guess it doesn't make it clear. It makes it clear to some of us.
I just don't. It's just been a while since.
Yeah. It's been a while.
And we are watching it, with no audio. So.
I know, and no.
Subtitles.
Thank you.
Good one.
What's the word? Next episode. It's okay. I've seen this so many times that I know what they're saying. So, Claire's starting to trip up here. Colum's asking about what family because her story is that she was trying to visit family in France and she got separated from her husband and her horse person.
Horse person? What are you trying to say?
The
carriage?
Coach. Yeah, the person who
who drives the carriage?
Yeah.
Yes, gotcha. This is why I would not survive in this world, because I don't know how to play these chess games, these matches of minds, and everyone's trying to do whatever. See, now the kid's with my father? Yeah, surely, you remember Dougal.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped a little bit.
See, haha, so she thought the kid that Dougal was playing with was Dougal's son, and now everybody's mad because it's not Dougal's son.
Well, it is Dougal's son, but it's supposed to appear to be Colum's son.
But why? Why do they have to do that? What am I forgetting? What's the deal?
Because I think Colum can't.
Because he has to be the heir, that kid?
Yes. So Colum needs an heir. He cannot, due to his accident / lower half issues.
I forgot. He
cannot
perform,
create a child.
Okay.
But he can raise a child as his own. But interesting, in the books, there's a whole other plot going on of this rumor that Jamie is Hamish, I think is the son's name, Hamish's biological father.
No way!
Yeah, that there was this whole thing between him and Letitia. It's this very strange plot, which I understand why they cut it out of the show, because
yeah, because
it also wasn't. So, it just was all rumors.
Oh, okay. So just trying to stir the pot up.
Yeah.
That would have made me doubly confused.
So this is Claire, again, thinking back on tips that Frank shared with her that she did not listen to tonight.
Yeah.
About how to be interrogated. Man, I can't imagine being really drunk and trying to walk down a hallway that's lit with fire.
Yeah, the little torches.
A lot of imbalance there. It's a dangerous game.
My hair's on fire! Ah!
I would love to see a kitchen, an old-timey
I was
kitchen.
just about to say that. I agree. I think it's super cool how it's set up. I don't know. I love how it looks.
Do you think the food was good? Because I'm torn.
Well, it's... Okay, personally for me, it's Scottish food. So I don't think I've ever had like traditional Scottish food. I'm like my family's from the Middle East, so we have a lot of spices, right? Mm-hmm. So I can only compare it to like, okay, if you go to an Irish pub, things are a little bit more bland than others, where you just got your basic, food groups, or your basic, like, potatoes, whatever grain, whatever. But like, I don't think, it looks just like a lot of slop. And chicken, obviously a lot of meat. I don't think they spice it like the Persians do. Like, not to show
I think that's
their food.
A fair assumption.
I don't think it's as appetizing as, or it could surprise me. I don't know.
Here's what I'll say, because I went to Ireland, which I know is not Scotland, so let me just say that. But the food there was so surprising because it was so fresh. Everything was just
that's the thing, yeah.
Fresh. And it was like, I'm not going to say there was like tons of layers of flavor and like spices and stuff, but it was so delicious because it just was so fresh and so pure.
So that's the thing. Their food's definitely simple, but they have their own farm, they have their own crops, they have their own, you are getting it, from the land.
So Claire decided to make a little picnic basket to go hang out with her new friend named Jamie and have a little afternoon picnic. And he's looking all cute in his little flowy shirt. And he was trying to break in, I don't know if it's a mare or what it is, some horse.
Yeah, also, I love when they have horses in shows.
Do you?
I do.
Are you a horse girl?
I do. I've ridden a horse quite a few times.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It's just it's the same excitement it gets me for like when you do see vintage cars in a movie. But there's just something about
that you don't see all the time.
Yeah, it's just looks like, I hope they take care of them well on the set,
I'm
on
sure
the
they
production.
do.
I'm sure. But yeah, when you have like, what I love is like if I were able to be in a series where I'm like this, Persian princess, and I have to, ride on this horse in this sand dune, and I'm just riding in the sand, and I've got my long sword and shit, and I'm about to go in and war. Would that be cool? Yeah. Would I don't know why I brought that up. Is that kind of a dream of mine for like a show I'm kind of like want to put together, and then like, do something, because there really isn't an ancient Persian show out there in a series, and to do cool
so
fights.
So would this be like Xena Warrior Princess, but like Persian? But like, make it Persian. Is it like that?
It's
like where it's
Game
like a
of
little
Thrones.
funny?
It's like Game of Thrones, but make it Persian.
Okay.
But not full Game of Thrones. No, like not the like.
So somewhere in between Xena Warrior Princess and Game of Thrones, where there's like a balance of like.
I definitely wanted to take place before the 1900s, before the 1800s, before the 1700s. Like, it's gonna be old. Like, if I were to, I don't know. Because the thing, again, that was just fun about this show is, like, it's cool that you go back, you're not in modern day. Like, you're not competing with so many other shows that are either, the 50s, the 40s, the 20s. Right. All these are in the 1900s. Yeah, you have, like, your cowboys and your whatever. That's 1800s. If you go 1700s, sure. But this is, like, we're going back centuries and centuries and centuries. And, it's, which is also just more mad respect for the costume, the set, the design of like at literally anything, because they have to probably have a historian on set to be like, yes, this is historically accurate, no, this is not historically accurate, yes, you have to check this, blah blah blah, because there are people who watch this show and are probably nitpicky about many things,
and like creating a lot of this stuff. Like, the costume designers make everything from scratch, I think. Like, they are literally assembling every piece, which is crazy.
You need a team for that.
So Claire and Jamie just had a lovely little picnic, and
I love he said, I was like, I love how he's just like, gain, what did he say? Gain like a few pennies. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, oh my god, pennies? Like, pfft.
Well,
now the cost of living, you can't even imagine how much rent costs, and you're just working for pennies.
So essentially, Claire was like, "What? Why did you tell me your name?" Because he's like, "Well, everyone, like, he's essentially hiding. He's in hiding because Blackjack Randall and the Crown are like looking for him, and he's just known as Red Jamie. Apparently, he's the only like tall-headed, red-headed, strapping, good fighting Scotsman. Yep. I don't know. Anyway, she's like, why would you tell me if everyone's, like, looking for you? Why would you tell me your real name? And he's like, because you asked. Like, what?
Yeah, but then she's like, you could have lied. You could have said something you confided in her.
Because of reasons. And I can't say it yet.
Because he's weak. No.
No. Look, now there's, like, some inside joke. She's like, don't get flogged today, okay? And he's like, I'm going to call you a little nickname.
Yeah, they're getting cutesy already.
And
this gives her hope, though. This gives her hope, right? Imagine you're going back.
There's nothing better than having a cute boy around. Whether you're, like, actually trying to pursue them or not, it gives you a reason.
It's a nice distraction, though, too, because, like, yeah, it's a relief where kind of that's a little bit of normalcy for her, where it's just like, okay, this is still human. Doesn't matter where you are in a time and place. Yes. You know, you're still, like, if you got a crush, if you're talking to somebody, whatever, like, yeah, I gotta survive.
It's just so fun to have a crush.
It is.
And, like, again, like, the one that, like, probably will never amount to anything, it's just so fun. You're like...
What about, okay, let's dig. Past crushes.
Oh, my God. I had such a crush on someone I used to work with. They were not in my department. They were in another department.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Such a huge... crush. And it was like I was like, I don't remember the last time I had a crush. I was like, I don't think I've had a crush as an adult.
So
like,
what would you do?
We talked every day, and literally I was like, are we flirting or not? Like, I was like, are we flirting or are we both just really nice? Oh. And I never solved the puzzle. I don't know.
Really?
So still to this day, we're very nice to each other.
Is it weird if you would have been direct and you're like, what is this?
No.
Like, you go into the copy machine.
There were many times I thought about doing that. And then I did find out he was like in an on again, off again situation.
Ugh, don't want to mess with that.
And he was like recently on again. So I was like, I guess we're not, but I think we were. I think we were flirting.
You were his work romance. You were his work wife.
Yeah. No,
you
for
guys
sure.
Were work
he
wife,
was my work husband.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. When he like took me out for a walk the one day because I was very stressed. And he was like, let's go for a walk. Wow. And I was like, are we getting married?
Wow.
Or
yeah.
should I pick up a wedding dress on the way? Are we going to town hall? Is that where we're walking? Because you're so thoughtful.
Because I got to put my out of office, my emails. Would you like figure out, like, come up with an excuse or whatever just to, like, go into, like, the kitchen or something?
No, I literally to go into his office. I pretended I didn't know anything about football, and I was like, I'm in a fantasy football league. Can you, like, tell me what to do this week?
Okay.
Well, okay,
I was wondering what things did you fake? Yeah,
I should say I didn't pretend I didn't know anything about football. I just pretended like I needed more help than I actually did. And he'd be like, you should play whatever. And I was like, I really don't think that's a good choice for this week. I was like, yeah, totally, I'll do that.
That reminds me of Mean Girls when she pretends to be bad at math.
Yes, that was
And then she's just like, the answer's not 2. Yeah. And then he's like, 4. And she's like, that's right.
Yeah. Also, I hope he never listens to this because it's real clear who it is. Also, like, I'm not a... I like animals. I'm not, like, a huge... You know, some people just love every, like, puppy that they see.
Right.
That's not really who I am in my core.
Okay.
But he had a dog, and I was like, oh, my God, I love dogs so much. Like, tell me everything about your dog. Yeah.
Did you
be like, oh, my God, send me pictures of your dog.
Oh.
And then he would, and I'd be like, that's right.
Oh, alrighty then. Next fun character we are introduced to.
I want to know about your crushes. All right, yeah, let's talk about Geillis.
You can go. Yeah, Geillis. Yeah, she's the only other redhead, right? Is that
is that how Scotland works? There's only 2 at any given time.
Yeah, she was immediately was sniffing around Claire. Like,
Yeah.
immediately picked up on, like, the, you know, she's off usually doing her own thing. But yeah, I you know, she's a clever girl. She was a smart character.
I will say, compared to the Mackenzies, right off the bat, I was like, she's not being genuinely nice.
No.
Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, this girl is trouble.
No, yeah, I don't think she wanted to pretend either.
Correct.
You know, that's the thing. Yeah, she's just like, she exactly wanted to know, like, Claire to know her status.
Yes, intimidate her a little bit. And yeah.
But also, I think it's a fun game.
Yes, I was going to say, know what game
yeah,
she's playing.
yeah.
Because I think she also sees someone who can also play the game.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, fun to be like, let's pretend we're friends. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, while she puts stuff in her wicker basket. Yeah, and then she would also say a lot of, like, you know, cheeky stuff, I guess you would say, where she's like, come visit me down in the village, and she already says she has a cabinet full of potions and like this and that or whatever. And I don't really know if Claire just thought she was being funny, or she was like, Claire didn't know she was being, like, dead serious.
I think, like, in terms of how the show portrays it, it's just this woman who, like, appears out of nowhere that she's never met before, who's like, I think she's like, I don't know what your deal is, but let's just
find out,
kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Claire doesn't have really, right? So she doesn't know when she's ever going to go back to modern day, 1945, whatever it is. So, might as well figure shit out. Might as well, yeah, what else are you going to do? You might as well, it's like when you're playing a video game where you have to complete this campaign in, like, these, and you go across these little, you know, the other characters that tell you the next thing on your journey. That's basically what this makes me think of.
Yeah, where she's like, all right, let's see. I think Claire...
She's no other option.
Yeah. And she's like, let's see what assistance I can get from her while still maintaining distance and not, like, trusting this person.
Yes, truth. I also love that they are now having a dispute over a cow. Yeah,
so...
Oh, that's the other thing. Obviously, Claire does not speak Gaelic.
Correct.
Right? So that would be a total... paranoia and, like, a total fear for me, because I'd be like, even if people are going to translate for me, how do I know what they're telling me is honest? How do I know what they're how do I know they're not messing with me? And I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's where, like, if you're observant and intuitive, you can pick up on the tone of someone's voice.
Right.
The body language, right? Like, so you're trying to interpret that way, which, again, can get really tricky when you're dealing with someone else who's very smart and it knows how to play the game. So we're finally introduced to Laird, or as I'm going to call it for the rest of the podcast, Larry, because reasons. And she's a young girl who essentially is accused of fooling around with a boy, and she's gonna be sentenced to, like, getting lashes in front of the entire hall of people until
of course, he's
Jamie
going to
to
save
the
the
rescue, because he loves to save a woman's virtue.
He really does, man. I think he knows that's going to make him win the crowd.
I do think there's an element of, like, it being fun for him too. Like, I think he likes to...
I mean, she definitely Larry.
Yeah.
You know,
Larry. It's just
favors him after this. Like, of course. Like, and she's related to
Mrs. Fitz. She's Mrs. Fitz's niece.
Remind me?
I think.
Okay.
So I think there's an element of, everyone has different love languages, right? And I think Jamie's for sure is acts of service.
I love how you said yes, absolutely.
Like 100%.
Yes.
So if it involves like doing something for someone else.
Have we talked about our love languages?
I can't remember if we did in the first episode.
I can't remember either.
Let's talk about it again. Because everyone should know.
Okay.
What's your love language?
I like receiving, what is it? Physical touch? Like
physical
spending
touch.
Quality time, like that
Okay,
too.
okay.
Those are two separate
three different
ones?
things. Yeah.
Okay,
So physical touch and quality time.
I like receiving both of those and giving both of those. But also, yes, well, because like I know, my partner's love language, so like I also like giving acts of what's the other one? Words of affirmation.
Yeah, words of affirmation.
Right, because you people should obviously know your partner's love language. But I think you also, that's something, because I've never heard about this before. Only recently did like I start talking to somebody about a love language. I'm like, wait, what is this? What are these things? Whatever. And that's obviously something you just like explore and find out when you're in a relationship anyway. Like if you don't know, I don't know if you should be in that relationship.
Right.
So
yeah.
What about you?
Quality time is number one. It's the tops. Like for me, I'm like, I don't care about anything else. But like if you are not making time to see me,
it's important.
Like
it's important.
I do not. My dead last one is receiving gifts. Like I could care less.
Yeah.
I'm not a material girl.
Yeah.
I think my second would be words of affirmation, but I also think that's because I have anxiety. So I don't know if that's a true love language or just a coping mechanism.
Also, yeah, my crushes.
Yes! Jamie's just getting the shit beat out of him, so let's just... By his friend Rupert, who's not, like, really enjoying it. Okay, yes.
Yeah, that too. Who decided it was his friend to do it? Rupert.
Dougal.
Was that right? Oh. See, that's the thing. Because Dougal's a sleazy bastard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So, crush. I don't know. I think I've had a work crush. And then we would go on, like, walks. Or just take lunch together, do whatever. But nothing, I was definitely never about, like, mixing,
it was a fun thing that should not move to
I don't think
else.
I would ever, be with somebody I would work with, which is so funny. I say that now, but Jordan and I obviously have a business together, a production company.
Oh,
but we were together, and the business came after. But that's an example where it works. I love being... in a business.
Are you just saying that
do.
because he's in the kitchen right now where he can hear you? Blink twice if you mean it.
Blink. No, I do. I do really mean it. I think it definitely, you just learn how to work with your partner because it's communication, and like sometimes you're a different beast, you're a different creature when it comes to your job.
Yes.
But also other crushes were probably just when I was like in kindergarten.
Yeah. No, I want to hear about like adult crushes.
I don't know if I've had many, to be honest.
I haven't either. I think that one work crush was my real like.
Yeah, I don't think I've like there've been like celebrity crushes, but I don't think they were real people. Like until like I got older and then went on Bumble and then just had fun and then just pursued whatever I wanted to pursue and traveled and did blah blah blah. But I don't think I really had any. I had
you focusing on
a
you.
major.
That's fine.
Yeah, there was just one crush when I was in middle school and high school because it was the same grade that went throughout, like same class that went throughout all the grades with you, and yeah, that was. Like, I was too shy. I was too shy to act on anything. That's what I'll say. Here we are.
So Jamie got beat up because he volunteered to get beat up so Larry wouldn't.
And who's there?
And Claire, like, of course, ran to help him. And she's kind of like, well, why'd you do that? And he's like, I feel bad for her and like I can handle it. She would have been like super embarrassed.
Yeah,
and like it would have been
bad.
like shameful for her.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And
he also seems fine. He seems like he has a little pep in his step. I mean, maybe not totally. But he,
Yeah, like he's
her
I'm
granddaughter.
okay. Oh, granddaughter, right? Mrs. Fitz is like, thanks so much. Oh my god, there's just so much eye contact and so much with their eye contact. Claire's looking lovely in a choker.
I noticed that. I like chokers.
She has a neck that is about a foot long, so
yeah,
the choker works.
Yep, it certainly does. I don't know how long would you be able to, I guess you answer that with your crush thing, but circle around a certain tension, filling the air.
It depended. So there was heat, I felt like. Okay, but do you mean knowing that you could act on it with no real repercussions if you wanted to?
Yeah. I mean, if Claire did act on it here, what really are the consequences?
I like a little cat and mouse.
Okay.
I like to play a little hard to get, bring it right up to the line, back it up, right? Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. The audience listening is like, at the end of the episode, they're like, I'm not really sure I retained information on the Outlander episode, but I learned a lot about Ashley and Reena's
They learned a lot about dating me successfully. Okay, so we missed a couple of important plot points, which is Claire was told by Colum that she could essentially go hitch a ride to Inverness with this person who's going to be visiting in the hall. So she thinks she's leaving. She even told Jamie after she kind of fixed him up after the beating that she's leaving. So he did a very nice, polite goodbye. And now she's like, hey, Dougal, bye. And he's like, nope. Follow me.
That has to suck.
I feel like Mrs. Fitz knows it. That was an interesting look on her face. She seemed to be like,
Oh, yes. I remember this.
Claire has a little flashback to the room that Dougal's bringing her into. It's the same room where she and Frank kind of busted into in the...
Where Frank pleasured her.
Castle. Yes. And then there were spiders. Presumably.
And now she's going in to that room once again.
And she looks nervous.
Yeah. It's just so funny too, because she just it's weird for her revisiting places.
Yes.
That I've been here in the future.
A day ago.
Yeah.
2 days. She was there 2 days ago with her 1940s husband, and it was covered in cobwebs.
So that's a thing, because her memory, everything's fresh.
Kidding me?
Memory's fresh.
So essentially, Colum's in the room, and is like, "Hey, listen, you're a healer. We don't have a healer anymore. So you're now our healer, and you will stay in here."
And she's like,
until further notice.
She's like, what? I also do wonder if, because her last name, Claire Beecham, and then he was asking, or saying the people who were in his healers before were beaten.
Yeah.
Beaton.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did that on purpose, making the last names very similar.
Maybe.
Or maybe not. Maybe that's just a me thing.
No, could be.
But also, yeah, I don't know, he the thing is, he has no knowledge of this matter. Like, the poisons, the medicine, all of that. And Claire is, she could do something with all of this. Oh, right, because the last dude passed. Sorry, I was
and also
reading the
apparently
subtitles.
He wasn't good. That was the other thing, too. So when she realizes she's staying, she doesn't really have a choice, and she tries to figure out how to actually do the job. She's like, there's a lot of people dying in this book in the record, and they're like, yeah, because he sucked.
I love this. He's just gonna leave her there. Oh my god, he's totally gonna torture her. Oh my god, he doesn't believe her. She's got secrets.
He's essentially like, listen, I don't know what your deal is. you clearly do have a talent for like healing, and we need that. And until I can figure out whether or not I can trust you, you're gonna give your services, and I'll give you a place to sleep, which will be here in this semi-dungeon.
Yeah, basically as a prisoner. But he's right, he's keeping himself at a distance. He's trying to protect his fam, or his throne, or his whatever. And, like, she's like, oh my gosh, this stinks. Mm-hmm. I would hate to be down. It probably smells. Oh, there's no ventilation down there.
Yeah, she's got some of those small windows down there.
Also, I have a very strong sense of smell. I'm very sensitive to smell.
COVID. Thanks,
oh,
COVID.
no!
Yeah, no, but tell me.
But it's a curse.
Well, I used to. I didn't realize how many hours of the day were spent thinking about smell. Like,
so can you? What about your taste buds? What about
they're
taste
dulled. So taste and smell is all dulled, and my taste. Some things taste different.
Like what?
So, Windex and certain perfumes and oils and like cleaning products have this very distinct smell, which is weird because they themselves have a very distinct smell. So why does it smell like this other thing? And that smell is very similar to the way that Coke and other sodas taste. Now, I don't drink a lot of sodas, but I had a sip and I was like, that's gross.
That's so strange.
Tomatoes and cucumbers taste like perfumey.
That's so strange.
It's very strange. And everything else for the most part is just like dulled. Oh.
Well, that was episode 2.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
It just ends with her being left in the in that dungeon.
Yeah.
As a prisoner, and then
also to point out too, she clearly, because there was a moment in time where she was telling Dougal that she was leaving because Colum told her that she could leave, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't know that, Dougal?" Like thinking that she sensed a rift between the two of them. And then at the very end, they're standing together and clearly had worked together to get her down.
Because blood is the stronger bond.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry that you lost your senses.
That's okay. Wait, tell me about your smell.
It's just very strong. Like I remember going into like my house when we would have a dehumidifier in my room because there'd be a lot of moisture, and then I would just immediately walked into the house, not even my room yet, the front of the house, and just smelled something off immediately, and then the carpet was wet. Walked all the way to the end of the house, whatever. Like stuff like obviously like any kind of candles, like I don't know. Sometimes it's a curse because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to smell this bad thing.
Yes, no, I get it.
Yeah, so that like having the mask helped because you don't smell other people's stuff, but then you smell your own breath.
Yeah. I have no idea what. Do you have candles on? I don't know what they smell
do.
like. You mentioned candles. I have no idea.
I do.
If you said it on your life right now, guess.
These are subtle though. These are not very powerful. So this would be would be fine. But tasting different things, that would definitely trip me up.
I've heard of way worse things. Anyway, this isn't a podcast about COVID. It's a podcast about Outlander.
Well, thank you guys for tuning into episode 2. We're now going to go through the scoring section. With our criteria. I love our sound effects. For Gemstones and Whiskey and Outlander podcast, a reminder again, we've got steaminess, plot, feminine power.
Why is your voice deep for feminine power?
Feminine power! Costume set and cringe factor.
That's all you. I'm never going to say them because I'm boring when I say them. So again, we're going to score each individual episode on this set of criteria, and then we will put together a definitive ranking of Outlander episodes. So give me a moment. Did you already score?
Yes, I know my steaminess.
Wow.
I'll just say it.
Yeah, you talk.
Big fat 0. I didn't get hot at all watching this episode. I get, it was close for Jamie and Claire being like, like very close, but not feeling. I don't know. Sometimes I get bored by. I basically have no heart. No, I'm not saying that. It was just a lackluster.
Yeah.
Moi. What did you rank?
So I gave it a 3.
Wow.
Listen, I'm pretty.
We're different. We're just
easy
different.
to please. Like, Jamie was shirtless for a large portion of the episode. There was definite like emotional connection. What seemed like a yearning for physical connection in front of the fire. They had that cute little picnic. Then she was like taking care of him after he got beat up. So I just feel like there's some stuff there.
Yeah.
I understand the 3 is high, but I think I also like the tension.
Except, I get that.
To me.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. It's a personal choice.
Yeah. For plot, I think I'm gonna give this one. I am gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Ooh, tell me why.
Because I think there's still a lot of storylines being introduced. And the storylines that were established are being explored. I think there's still connecting back to current day, right? So updating us on like Frank looking for Claire. So I think that they're still doing a good job at kind of creating this world, explaining this story.
Yeah. I would agree. I did plot as 3. Just because there is more and more unfolding, and I also do like how they tie things together from when she's with Frank and then when she's here, and like information that becomes relevant for her or important, and like just helpful in that time and place. Feminine power, I did make it kind of low. I mean, I put 2, but for 2 solid reasons. One, when we were introduced to, oh my god, I'm already blinking on her name.
Larry? Mrs. Fitzgibbons?
Yeah, Mrs. Fitzgibbons. Actually, I completely forgot about Larry. Mrs. Fitzgibbons. Yeah, because like she runs the kitchen. She comes in immediately. Oh my god, Claire, what are you wearing? Let's get more clothes on you. Let's do this. Like, boom. Like, I immediately liked her. But that's not feminine power. But it was like, it was just her, her demeanor. Her person, like helping another woman out. That was also really, really comforting. That was really cool. Because like that would have been really unfortunate if she came into this and like all the women were like fending for themselves. That would be unrealistic, but you're just like, yeah, we have to have each other's back. And also for, the redhead, Geillis, yes, thank you. Also just because she always has, there's just mystery in this episode looming around her, so she's immediately fierce. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 pretty much for all those reasons. So Mrs. Fitz clearly runs a tight ship.
Yeah.
I think obviously we saw that Colum's wife, although he's the laird, she seemed to also be like a strong female, Letitia. Didn't seem to be like timid or very passive. She did seem like she seemed sharp. She seemed involved. I think also like just saying like Leary being like in a more vulnerable position was motivation for a man to kind of like sacrifice his own well-being in a way.
Her vulnerability making
her being in a vulnerable situation.
I see. Yes, very
I like
well
to
put.
say her vulnerability, although
Well
in that
put.
moment her character I think was feeling that, but I think that's a little bit of power too, like playing on that dynamic. I don't think
Also,
she necessarily did it intentionally, but I do think that shows that.
That she, like, again, she's also just like a fiery one. That's what I'm saying. Like yeah, I'm just agreeing with you because she got in trouble. If you ever get in trouble, period, you're obviously doing something you know you shouldn't be doing, or you can't help it. You know, that's the thing where it's just like, okay, she still wants to do what she wants to do, and she wants to push the boundary and the lines and to test the waters and like
Like, good, get yours, girl.
Good, do it.
And same thing, like Geillis. Geillis was out by herself, like when she stumbled upon Claire. She clearly is very smart, and kind of established a little dance between the two of them. And then even in the hall, like, Geillis was translating for Claire and, like, kind of explaining the procedure that was happening in the hall.
True.
And giving her insight. And then also when Claire went to go help Jamie, Geillis was like, no, go this way because it'll draw less attention. Like, so, you know, there was some teaming up, which I liked.
Yeah.
So a 3.5. For costumes and set, I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's really cool to see the castle, to see, especially like the kitchen looked really cool.
True.
Claire's surgery, the stables, like they really started creating this world. Even that first scene when they're inside the walls of the castle. And also, you know, we got to see Claire essentially be stripped of her like 1940s identity and transformed into this 1700s version.
True. Yeah, I did 3. I did 3 for those reasons. Exactly. Cringe factor. If you're still thinking, I could.
Yeah, you go.
Well, I did -1. I did -1. And you know, the only thing that made it's gonna sound terrible, but it was his legs. I'm sorry, that was the cringe factor for me.
Okay, that's fine. They did a great job at,
they
like,
did the thing. I don't
that...
mean thank you for
yes,
clarifying.
No,
I don't mean I'm disgusted by disability. I should really clear the air. I do not mean at all about this unattractive.
No,
blah, blah,
they
blah.
did a great job.
That's why I was asking about like how did they do it? Because when you do like green screen or a digital effect or even if it's costume or it's like someone has to wear these shoes or whatever, it was very believable to me.
And it was impactful, right? So
yeah,
like,
that's why I thought it was the actor's real legs. I was like, is he actually? There's no way.
No, he walks in the room and they feature his legs.
Yes.
And they did an awesome job at that. I did a a 1 for cringe factor, which is negative, for the uncle father situation.
Yeah.
Gross. And awkward. Like, just cringing at that interaction of her being like, that's your son. And they're like, well, it is, but how did you know that? So, please pause while I do some math.
My total is a 7. And I feel good about that. Last episode, for episode 1,
a 7?
13. Yeah, because steaminess was 0. I gave this was the low. I just had.
Wrong?
Yep, I had 7. I just did the math again. Just people.
I have a 13.5. Somehow I am.
Wow, close to your first episode was 13. Yeah, look at
that's
you.
That's interesting.
Steaminess is just gonna be probably just like you always got steaminess. Your steaminess puts you always.
Jamie's in a scene.
Automatic steaminess.
I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Gets a little humid. All right, well,
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us for our second episode of Gemstones and Whiskey, and we will talk to you soon.